If you have been confused by the term equity popping up everywhere from trading platforms to business to finance, you are definitely not alone. Today we are breaking down this key concept that connects trading, finance, and economics in ways you need to know. Alright, so let's begin here with the very important question. What is equity? And what is the sort of general definition of equity? Well, I think the easiest way to think about equity is to basically think about it as ownership. Equity is the part of something that truly belongs to you. So when we talk about equity, we are talking about what is yours. So it's usually what you own minus potentially what you owe. So for example, if your house is worth $300,000 and your mortgage is $200,000, then your equity will be 300,000 minus 200,000, which is 100,000. And this is the general definition. But when it comes to trading, finance, business, and economics, we do mean slightly different things, and it's very important to know about these differences. So now, first of all, what do we mean when we talk about equity in trading? Well, when we talk about equity, when traders talk about equity, they are often talking about stocks. Another word for stocks is equities. This is something you probably have heard if you're listening to finance news or are in the finance and trading world. And it basically means owning shares in a company. So this is how it connects to the general definition. We're talking about what is yours. And when you own a stock, you're owning a part of a company. So when traders say equities, they usually mean stock market shares. But here, and this is important, they can also refer to your account equity. And what is this? Well, this is what is left in your trading account after we have taken away your margin or debt. So you can think about, once again, you can think about equity as how much of this account is truly mine. So let's say you have a trading account with $100,000, but of this $100,000, you might have borrowed $50,000. If this is the case, your account will be 100,000, but your equity will only be $50,000. But all right, so now then, what do we mean by equity in finance? Once again, in finance, it has a slightly different definition. And in finance, we usually say that equity is your stake or value in any kind of asset after paying off your debt. So here are some common examples. We already briefly mentioned this, but you can talk about home equity. So this is your value of your home minus the mortgage. But we can also talk about, for example, investment equity. And here we're talking about the portfolio value minus the borrowed value. We can also talk about, for example, equity investments. Here we're talking about, for example, stocks, which means that you become a part owner. And last but not least, you might have heard about something called equity financing. And this is basically when you are raising money by selling ownership. So you're not taking a loan, but you are rather selling ownership. Let's say that you want to start a company, but you don't have enough money. Then you might, bring in money from someone else. So money is coming in, but in return, you give them a piece of your company. This is basically what equity financing means. And now, and this is key, what do we mean when we talk about equity in business? Well, this is, I think, one of the most common ways to refer to equity. And when we talk about equity in business and fundamental analysis, we are referring to ownership of a company. So on a company's balance sheet, equity is the assets versus the liabilities. This is also called shareholders' equity. And this is basically the net worth of the business that belongs to the owners slash shareholders. So we always go back to the original definitions that equity is what you actually own. And now, if you are wondering where to find the equity and balance sheets in TradingView, what you want to do is that you simply want to, first of all, you want to search for a company. So you go up to the search button right here, and you might want to search for example, NVIDIA. So let's open up NVIDIA right here. And to find the equity, you go to financials, this button. Then you navigate here to where it says statements, you go down and you go down here to the balance sheet. And right here on the third row, you can see that we do have the total equity. So here you can see both the total equity for different quarters, and you can also see the percentage is the change in the equity. By the way, TradingView is the platform I use for all my both technical analysis and trading, and I also use it for fundamental analysis. And if you don't have TradingView yet, I do have a special link to TradingView, and I will make sure to drop it down in the description below. But alright, so now I want to talk about what equity means in economics, and this one is actually, quite different compared to the other meanings. Here we're talking about something else. In economics, we're actually not really talking about ownership, but we are rather referring to fairness or justice. And here you might think, is this equality? Well, it's actually different from equality, because equality basically means that everyone gets the same, while equity, when we talk about equity, we're talking about that everyone gets what they need to succeed. And when we talk about equity in economics, we're usually talking about topics like, for example, education, income, healthcare policies, and more. Last but not least, here is a quick recap. You can feel free to screenshot this image right here if you want to have it for reference. And also, if you are a channel member, gold or diamond, you know that you do get access to these presentations and guides. You also get exclusive videos and trading tools and much more. So if you want to become a channel member, consider doing that by clicking join down below. But now guys, when you're ready to dive deeper into the world of economics and finance, I highly recommend to check out this playlist next.